Okay, I'd like to call the meeting to order. It's 7 p.m. And let's do the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, thank you. So we have no one here from the public, so we will move right on into the trustees report.
No, you have to do the minutes first.
Oh, that. Minutes from the September 3rd, 2005 meeting. Those were sent out in the packet. Has everybody had a chance to read them? Mm-hmm. Perfect. Any comments, any discussion? All right, can I get a motion?
So moved.
Thank you.
Second.
Who was
Thank
that?
you. That
So
Mike
Mike
and Ken.
and Ken, yeah.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Perfect, thank you. Now we'll move into the into the trustees' report. So for the chair's report, I don't have much tonight. It'll come up under other things that are on the agenda. The big thing that we had talked about last week was how we're going to do the evaluation, but that's going to be under new business, so we don't need to discuss that right now. And as far as the scholarship update, we did not get a chance, the scholarship committee, to meet. We do know how much we have to spend, but we still have to meet and decide what we're going to give each applicant. Okay. Treasurer's report?
Yes,
Thank you, Corey.
my pen is dead. That's okay. I wrote it all down already.
Can you just put the mic a little bit closer?
Of course.
Thank you, thank you.
All right. So we did finally start getting the statements digitally, but I wrote everything down so I could pass it along to Julie. So for September, for the month of September, we had a starting balance of $682,903.28. There were 0 deposits, an income of $1,620.91, 0 withdrawals, 0 expenses. The change in value for the month of September was up $17,088.97, putting our ending balance at $701,613.16, which I believe is the first time we've broken 700,000 on this account. So
Perfect.
Fantastic.
had a very good month in September. Very good. I know. I'll pass this along to you, Julie.
Thank you.
Okay, can I get a vote to approve the treasurer's report?
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Julie. Second? Thank you.
So was it Jessica?
Jen was working
Okay, all
here
in
moments
favor?
ago.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Motion carries. Okay, so the Friends of the Library update. We did not know, we knew ahead of time was not going to be able to go to the first meeting since he's been assigned that role. But Mike, I understand you went.
I went, yeah.
I don't want to put you on the spot. Was there anything you'd like to share?
Other than the fact that they're very glad to have, well, I joined recently with, and they said no, it's going to be helping with marketing or something like that, but they were very happy to have trustees aboard. They're very anxious to move forward. They have all these ideas in mind. Talking about, I think that even talking about now, I think the open house might be in January instead of Christmas time. Usually they're talking about having the festivities in early January instead of the Christmas time. But they have a lot of ideas. They have a lot of energy. They're thrilled to have us aboard, and they're very supportive. And they're really. I'm going to the meeting on the 13th at 10:30.
Oh,
So
good.
keep you advised. But they're a great group. They're
Yeah.
the president is very very professional moving forward. But she's glad to have us aboard.
Thank you.
I'm glad I joined. I'm
That's
glad
good.
I went.
So now we've got a member and a liaison. Perfect. Okay, director's report. Noel?
So first I'll just refer to the report that I actually wrote and ask if there's any questions about that before I talk about new things. Nope, nobody has anything that they want to talk about? All right. Awesome. Good. Makes things nice and easy for me then. So I had meant to do this last meeting and I forgot. And so I remember at the end of the summer, we were talking about online record keeping for all the documents that we have in the binders and so on and so forth. And I went to the town and did talk to the town about the possibility of keeping records online in like a Google Drive-y type of thing or something like that. But they do not have a way to do that at present. They didn't say that it wouldn't happen at some point, but right now they said there's not really a way for them to keep or maintain any kind of records. But obviously we have our minutes uploaded and things like that too. But as far as the other records kind of have, they said we don't have a way to do it right now. So and they advised against us doing our own online record keeping, like creating a Google Drive or something like that and keeping the stuff into, just because everything's supposed to be public. So they were concerned about things not being public or not like they're hidden, but you know what I mean. So that's do what we're doing right now, basically, and then just, hopefully something will come down the pike sooner than later that will make our records more accessible to people. So I just forgot to answer that question last month. So just wanted to get back to that. And so the second piece that I had under my thing, my director's report, was the state financial report, which I did include in the packet, a sheet on it, and I just wanted to run through that very quickly because I think it's very important that you as the trustees understand how the financial report works, and how I am looking every year at the budget numbers that we need to get to. And this was actually, I think we talked a little bit about budget before, and it was like, what actually is the library's budget? Like, kind of came up. So this is just an illustrative. So I did try to just be very explanatory in the document to just kind of basically explain what we do. But the state requires, they call it the municipal appropriation requirement, which we just say the MAR. And just every year it's a 2.5% increase, right? Is what they're basically saying. And so then when they're determining things, the state's determining things, they look at the TAMI, which is the total appropriated municipal income. I can't say it. And that's if you get some funding out of other sources as well. And so you're supposed to use whatever the higher figure is when you're doing your calculations. So you look at the last 3 fiscal years, they basically get averaged together and then multiplied by 1.025. So I put in here like what our last 3 years were, and then so where for this year we needed to be at $1,631,696 to be at the number that the state requires us to be funded at. But we actually got $1,657,878 appropriated from the town. So a good number over. So that's great. Because this past year as well, things will be pretty different for FY27 because with the union negotiations, one of the things that they were doing was doing a comp and class study for salaries, and so they did raise everybody's salaries did go up, and that will be that we talked about before, so that will be included in the FY27 numbers. It wasn't in the FY26 numbers, but it will be in the FY27 budget. So there'll be quite a jump in the salaries for FY27 that we'll see. But we're not there yet, but December we'll start talking about that. And then I just wanted to make the note of the other areas of compliance from the state is that the library is open to all residents of the state, that we don't charge for normal everyday library services, which is pretty much public libraries. We all do that. And then based on population size, we have to be open a number of hours per week that they have set for that. And then that has to include some nights and weekend hours. And by weekend hours, they usually just mean Saturdays. They don't mean Sundays, but we do have Sunday hours as well. That we have trained library personnel working at our library, and then that a reasonable portion of our budget total budget is spent on library materials, and so they have a percentage for that. So our 100% compliance, we need to be open 59 hours, 6 days a week. We were open 68 hours, 7 days a week with 4 evenings in the past year. And then for library materials, 100% compliance is for us to spend 13% of our total budget, which was for this past year was $210,789.28. And we have budgeted regularly in our budget. If you looked at our annual budget that we looked at last month, so we budget $220,000. It used to be $230,000, and when we had a cut a couple of years ago, that was like where I cut it because we were way over what we needed to be. But we will not next year, but the year after, with the calculations, we will need to be spending more than $220,000 on our materials. So we'll see, because I don't know what the numbers will look like yet for FY27, but so that'll be something I'll be asking the town for, is to increase the materials budget.
And that's based because of the salary increase.
Right.
So
yeah. Well, because everything's,
ratio.
Because everything's going to go up. Right? It goes up every year anyway, but it'll be a bigger jump because of the increased salaries this next year. So, yeah. Yes, that will happen. So do I have any questions about any of that? Yes, go Julie.
Open to all residents,
Of the state.
so it doesn't mean out of state or anything? Or?
Nope. It means residents of Massachusetts.
Okay, and the other one was employing trained library personnel. What is there a state not mandate?
So
Is there a
yes.
state requirement of what they have to?
Yes. So the state requires minimally that the director either has a master's in library science or will participate in training that they make available to basically get certified to be a library director. So there's very specific training for the director to have, and then there's an expectation that your staff, your professional staff, either has library degrees or also is participating in enough training, specific library training.
Do you know if the new contract, do they offer any incentives to go to school?
In the
ASME contract?
No.
Well, no, I was ASME, and they in fact, you were allowed to take one course a semester.
So that's kind of what the scholarship is doing, that the trustees is providing. So it's not in the contract, but it is what we're kind of making that up on the back end with the trustees scholarship, is making it have an incentive. And I think when we talked about the scholarship before, that is something that most libraries do not have any compensation for or incentives for people to go to library school and get reimbursed by their libraries. It's actually on the rarer side to find it. So when you find some place that'll give you anything to go to library school, it is very exciting. People are like, oh, I can get some money. So it's awesome that we have, that we're doing anything is actually great.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Any other questions or anything about that? Yeah, go Noah.
This is more just getting it on the record, because I know this came up last time, but with the hours, and I think you just covered this in the last meeting, that with the Sunday closures, we were able to do that without risking our compliance. Because we have that buffer of hours, right?
Yeah, we have So we'll be at 64 hours from the 59 that we need to be at. And as I say, like we're counting the Sunday hours in our numbers, but technically, because Sundays you're not required to be open through the summer. So even if you're normally open Sundays, like they don't care in the summer if you are. Anyway, so it's kind of like Sundays are a little bit of an interesting add-on in a lot of ways for the libraries anyhow. But if you were a larger population place, bigger than than Danvers, or you were like Boston or Worcester or something like that, you really want to be open Sunday hours to get because you have a higher number that you're trying to get to,
right.
To be open for. So like the Sunday hours become important to be open. Any other questions? No. All right, great. The only other thing I was going to mention, and that's just, I did talk to Donna about it already, but I do have, with my parents, some health issues that have come up with them, and I am, out of the kids, the sibling that's the proxy, and so forth. So there's some diagnoses and surgeries and things coming up. So I might end up taking, it's not going to probably be a block of time, but just some FMLA days coming up in probably November, December to help care for my parents. So that's just to let everybody know that that's happening if I'm a little less available. But I think cobbling together other family members and such that hopefully I'll be able to mostly still be present, but there might be some days that I'll have to take off to deal with family. So just a heads up about that. And I'm trying to think if I had anything else, and I don't think I have anything else right now. That's, something I remember, I'll let you know. But that's my report.
Thank you, Noelle. Okay, so you asked, but any further questions for Noelle on anything we discussed? Okay, perfect. All right, so under old business, scholarship update. Unfortunately, the scholarship committee did not get a chance to meet after.
Right, so we met once, and
Yes,
then we had to
yes.
meet with finance.
But it's since then.
So we met once,
Mhm.
just not, we haven't met after we talked to the finance, after the finance committee met, so we have a couple other things that we have to do before we can agree on that, so.
Okay, but we do need to meet because we've got money we've got to distribute. But yes, so, and that was what I started to say is subsequent to that meeting. So we will get together shortly, and then we'll bring that to the board and vote on that. And as far as under old business, the scholarship, I'm sorry, going past that one now, new business, the evaluation process discussion is what we're going to have tonight. That came up last month, and I think it's great that we're talking about it. I made some calls. I talked to the, oh my God, my brain, I'm sorry. I've had one of those days today. I started with a migraine.
Human resources?
No, our town,
Manager?
not the manager.
Assistant town manager?
No, the
Council?
The
elected board, yes. The select
The
board.
select board.
Oh
I'm
my God, I am
was
so
looking-
sorry,
that was a fun
Danvers.
guessing game.
I just wanted to break it up a bit.
It's called Read
Yeah.
My Lips.
So I spent some time talking to Dee, and I also called members of the school committee. The school committee we almost can't compare ourselves with because all of the school committee members have to be involved with that, and there's very specific guidelines the superintendent has to comply with periodically. So that one's done completely differently. When I talked to Dee Joko, he said all of the members participate in the evaluation, and that's great, but they only have 5 people. We have considerably more, and it's very hard to get us, even tonight we don't have everybody here, so it's very hard to get everybody together. Jessica and I did talk about this, and what we decided might be a great thing to, Jessica and I will continue to do the evaluation, the chair and the vice chair as it's always been, but before we present it even to Noelle, we'll meet and we'll break into executive session, and then we will go over the evaluation. Everybody will have a copy of it. You'll see what Jessica and I agreed to, and then we can discuss each portion of the evaluation rather than starting from zero and having to get consensus from all of us on every point. Any comments, any discussion?
I think that's an excellent solution and would absolutely, positively, and unequivocally address the concern that I have. And I wanted to say, also, to the public in particular, I may have been misunderstood by the way that I raised this question at the last meeting. So I want to be clear. I have no objectives or criticisms with the outcome of the evaluation. And if my asking the question about the process led anyone to believe that I was raising that question because I had a concern about the outcome, I want to be clear that that is not why I asked the question. It was, and And so I wanted to apologize if I led you to believe that it was a criticism of the chair or your execution of your role as the chair. So just to be clear about that. I did think, however, which you addressed in your response today, as an elected member of the board myself, I feel that the most important responsibility we have is hiring the director and participating in that process. I participated in that process. I unequivocally stated in that process that I was enthusiastic about the energy and the enthusiasm and the direction that our new director was going to bring to the board, and that has been demonstrated, for me at least, over her tenure in the role. So I have no criticism in that aspect at all. What I was concerned about is if a member of the public were to come to me to express a concern about the evaluation of the director, positive or negative, ways that she could improve, things that they were looking for, aspects of the role that they were concerned about, I felt that I have a responsibility in my role to have to be able to communicate that to you as the chair. And because of the way the process executed itself, I didn't feel as though that I had the opportunity to do that, which is why I raised that. Now, last point. I know that you and Jessica have to represent the full board when you go to the town manager and other elected officials to present your case for the evaluation of the director. So therefore, before that you do that, I felt that it was, it would be a good process if we got a chance to give you our concerns. You could weigh those concerns, assess them and evaluation them in balance with your own concerns, and then use that in your consultation to arrive at the final conclusion. So my concern, which I'm trying to express today, which I'm inarticulate in doing that. My concern simply was procedurally, I felt that the full weight and the intelligence and the insight of this board, many hundreds of years worth of experience sitting around this table, is valuable and cannot be not respected by the process, not by the individual, by the process. And so I think that what you said today as a lead into this addresses that concern completely. So anything further that I have to say has been addressed by your representation of the facts.
Yeah, well, thank you, Charles. I appreciate that. We'll just let that go. I'm not going to go over. But thank you. I appreciate it. And I do think this will allow everybody input on the entire evaluation. Everybody will have a say. Everybody will get to participate. And we can take all that knowledge that this board represents and put it all together. And then we'll break out of executive session. We'll do the review just afterwards. But then we can continue. All right. I was just going to say something else that wasn't on here.
Does anybody else have any other questions?
Oh, does anyone else other than Charles have any questions about that?
Yeah, actually, I have a question. What do we do where we're being videotaped and you go into executive session? Do you go in another room?
We can just turn it off.
So they turn in there, they turn it off?
I believe so, when I've seen other meetings, yeah.
Yeah, it kind of just is like not a black screen, but like.
Yeah, we'll just put a
Executive
graphic
session.
up or something and say executive session and yeah.
Huh?
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
just
Show. It's
wondering.
like, we'll be right back.
Yeah. They'll just turn off the cameras and the mics and you have your own meeting without it and then they'll.
No,
bring it
I
up
was
as needed.
just curious.
Yeah.
Okay.
Your curiosity is satisfied, I hope.
Kill the cat.
Madam Chair, I have one comment. I think that the evaluation process differs between the library board and the select board because the town manager of the select board, the five of them meet and they've set goals for the town manager, which is different than what we have here. And that's the difference in the process. They all participate, but they all, going into the evaluation process, there's goals that are agreed upon by the manager and the board. And then the manager is only evaluated on those goals and objectives. Whatever the board set and what the town manager agreed on, that's what is evaluated on, and that's it. It's very plain, very simple. It's just goals are set, and it's a lot different than what our process is.
Yes, but we do have items that we expect Noelle to perform, and she's aware of those because she's got copies of the evaluation. What I can do probably a month or so before it's time for for Jess and I to meet, I can give everybody a copy of that evaluation, because
So-
we are, I'm sorry?
It is we did digitalize.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Can you-
This mic does not really work very well.
Yeah. Pull it closer.
This-
closer to you.
It is digitized as a blank copy as well. And I believe I emailed that link to everybody, so we can send it out again, obviously. But right now, you do have that physical copy in
Of the blank form.
of the blank form.
Blank form. Yep.
Do you just ask the director, Madam Chair, evaluations, and if you've probably had experience with obviously other libraries, but like I say, I mean that's the part of the process is that specific goals are spelled out by the select board, which seems to be more difficult with the evaluation that presented here, where there's so many. How many was she evaluated on?
Well,
About 60, 70?
Yeah. Well, when
Maybe
you
not that many.
when you guys were doing it beforehand, before I know I wasn't on before, but how did you do the process when you were
Well, that's
president?
it all went the same way before, and then there was a discussion with the former town manager Bartha about the board being involved in the evaluation process, and then that just went south. But my point is, I don't have any complaint about the director and anything she's doing. All I'm saying is that the specific goals and objectives are clear by the select board. This is what you agreed on. What you agreed on. We're evaluating on that. That evaluation that you passed out, I don't know, 70. How many things evaluated on? 60,
Well,
70.
I'm asking, like, when you were working on it, what was what was your evaluation? Do you have a copy of the evaluation that you had?
You know what?
before?
They got to be in the file somewhere, but it wasn't perfect like I'm preaching tonight about
Yeah.
about the board. In other words, I'm just trying to explain about the process. The select board is very clear. These are the objectives. You've agreed to it. We've agreed to it. Evaluated on that. The form, is there different forms for? I looked online. There must be different forms for evaluating a director, like a.
And so when I started too, so what happened here was that Christy was the one who introduced the current evaluation form. And so of course she works for the Massachusetts Library System. So she was the one who, I mean, she didn't make up that form. That form was a well-used form to evaluate directors in libraries. So that form, when you look at it, again, right? Like it's just addressing big areas, right? So it's like, how are you doing on budget? How are they doing on these different big. Which are typical areas, right, that you probably evaluate most managerial staff on anyway. And they're just somewhat specified towards library is how it is. So, I mean, I think it's a pretty good evaluation form because it's pretty thorough. So it does really cover all different things. I mean, I think as we were talking earlier tonight when Donna was talking about, you talk to the select board members, you talk to school committee members, they're all managerial jobs that you're talking about, but they're very different jobs too. So it's hard. So like, we're going to talk in a minute about my action plan suggestions, but it would be possible. I mean, this is something for you guys to decide to do or not. I mean, it would be possible if you wanted to come up with, like we can base it off of the strategic plan or action plan and say, here are like a few things we want to see get done this year, get enacted upon this year. I mean, that's a possibility if you wanted to look at things in that way. But the valuation form you're using now is very big picture. So it kind of has all of the big picture pieces of the job. I mean, and you could get more meta if you wanted to, but I mean, I don't know if you want to. that's up to, that's all up to you, right? So I mean, I am the employee. You are my board. So you guys get to decide.
But that is one of the reasons why it was so important to me to have some type of succession planning in place and to have everything documented, because it wasn't before. Whatever form you used, we did not have it, which is why we went to Christy through the library board, not her personally, but to get instead of reinventing the wheel, because we didn't have a copy of that one, we thought we'd start with that. When I send it out to you, although it is online, if you want to look at it, if there's any changes, let me know, because we can absolutely add those. It's not cast in stone. That can be a living document that changes as we need it, depending on our specific library. And when did Bartha bring that up to you, Mike, about getting everyone involved?
Well, let's see. Let's see. So probably, let's see, 3 or 4 years ago. And it, in fact, I think at one time he actually handed me a form, and then it never came forward. But it was a very simple form. I mean, the goals were set, and then just evaluated on that. You know.
Yeah. Well, I'll speak to the new town manager, see if she's got something similar. But I'm excited that we got this changed in a month, and we'll just continue to move forward. So any other discussion? I'm hoping I addressed everybody's concerns with how we did it versus how we're going to do it in the future.
I would just only say that I did recall, as I was sitting here, that the thing that we liked so much about...
I'm sorry, Charles.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, the thing that we were so excited about our new director was her youthful enthusiasm. And I still see to this day, we have an awful lot of youthful enthusiasm. So don't let it go.
Okay.
Thanks, Charles.
No, she's great. She's great. All right. So, action plan suggestions?
All right, yeah, that's mine.
That's yours.
That's mine.
That's
So
your
this
baby.
is homework for all of you. I'm assigning homework. So I don't expect anybody to come up with necessary suggestions right now, but as we went over recently, this past year's action plan, so which, you know, usually, so, and I think I explained then, like I look at the strategic plan, I then say like, here, what are actions that we can take in the next year to like move forward the plan. So I've thought that it would be great if you all had some suggestions for the action plan. So I have to file the action plan for the beginning of December. So what I'm gonna do is for next month, I will come with basically the draft of my version of the action plan for the next year of things that I want to try to accomplish based on the strategic plan. And I'm going to have you all do your homework and like see if you all look at the strategic plan, which you should have a copy of, and if you do not, it is online on the library's website. Just take a look at it and say like, oh, here's some things that doesn't look like we've addressed yet, or something I would like to see move forward. And yeah, we can discuss that or see, you know, if there's ways to add that in, or I might say like, you know what, let's put that off one more year, or you know, or whatever, who knows. But I wanted to like make sure that you all, well, I'm not doing it just in, you know, the vacuum of space, and just like let you guys have, you know, some suggestions for it too. So that's your homework for November. And I said I will come, so I will put it in the packet so you'll see it, whatever my draft is for it, and then you guys can, I mean, and you could just maybe make, you know, comment. I mean, you don't have to have suggestions, but maybe you just have comments or whatnot, but you know, making it an inclusive process.
Thank you. Okay. I also did just want to thank Julie for showing up to Celebration, the Hispanic Heritage Month celebration that we just had. I know we brought it up at a previous meeting. She's, I think, the only one I saw there.
You.
Well, me, yes. If I saw you, I was there. No, but thank you. That was very nice. It wasn't as well attended as past years. I think there's a couple of different reasons for that, but it was still a really nice event.
Mhm.
A lot of music, a lot of kids, a lot of food, you guys have to start
Bananas.
coming to these things. All right. And,
Can I add something?
yes,
I want you to realize that Jillian did a tremendous job.
And Amy was there too.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Thank you.
yes, we did have a
Yes.
table
And
there,
they-
the
they-
library.
I know, they do a great job.
They represented the library well.
And they always have the appropriate books, and,
Yeah,
yeah, it was a nice networking thing.
And they had
'cause
the
there were a
llama
lot of
craft,
other-
right? Again, I love the llama craft.
Yes. Okay, anybody else, any announcements or
Any other new business, I guess?
any other new business?
Charles has his hand.
I just have one item to bring up. I
Yeah.
saw the
I'm sorry.
very
I
nice.
can't hear you.
Charles, can you
Oh, I'm
speak
sorry,
into
I'm
the-
sorry.
I know.
I'm drifting off here.
Just pull it closer.
I saw the very nice note that Richard Trask entered into the
Mhm.
record tonight, and so it's good to see progress being made on so many different fronts and acquisition of new materials, which is very
Yep.
very exciting. And his recognition of Julie Silk, who's the person who's working with him on a part-time basis. I still continue to be concerned with regards to the historical maintenance of the ongoing engagement and support of the archival materials. And I know Richard is the repository of so much valuable information and insights and care for the archival, and he's a remarkable individual. And I'm concerned that as we think about the future, and there is always a future, that we have a process in place that really kind of respects that and engages in the process to come to terms with what we're going to do going forward with regards to that. So I'd like to suggest to the chair that perhaps we might have a conversation about this. I'm perfectly willing to volunteer to participate in the process to continue the dialogue and discussion about what might be next. There's lots of experts all over particularly in Massachusetts and many places that can help us think about the archives and how we can memorialize all the work that Richard has done and put a foundation that allows us to look at the next 25 years. You guys will be there. I'm not going to be there. But I do think that we have such a rich legacy to pass on to the younger generation that's coming along. And I do think that we have a responsibility to ensure that that happens.
Mhm.
So we need to get serious about this and just bite the bullet and start planning for the future.
And I will just say that is also on my mind.
That's one of your action. Is that one of your action plan
There-
suggestions?
That can certainly, and it should be, yes.
Thank you.
And it-
That's the one I'm going to recommend.
Yes, and it should be one, because you are absolutely right. Like the archives is a treasure. I mean, it's a treasure. And Noah and I were just talking, right? He was the first one here with me, and we were just talking about how there's always something that you find out about the archives that you didn't know we had, or like, oh wow, that's cool. Like, oh, they've had this cool thing, and it's a gem that we need to, make sure we keep shining and
Build on it.
and build on
Build on it.
and
Raise
build
it up.
on it and
Right.
build on it. And I have some thoughts, to talk to. I've talked to the town manager about it a little bit
Okay.
already, but I have some budget season potential thoughts as well. So
Great.
but yeah,
Fantastic.
it is on my mind for sure. Yeah. So, and yeah, we should. I mean, the archives are. I mean, and Richard he's wonderful. You say he has so much, like just at his fingertips, like in his brain. But we won't have Richard forever, and we need to prepare for that too. So.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. Anybody else? If there's no other business, can I get a motion to adjourn?
A motion for adjournment.
A second?
I'll second.
Thank you.
All right, so who,
Jessica?
Jessica and Corey?
Mhm.
All in favor?
Getting used to it.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
All right.
Good night, Danvers.